The Program of the Year Award was awarded to HealthNet Aeromedical Services in early November 2019 by the Association of Aeromedical Services. The award was sponsored by Airbus. The Program of the Year Award has been given annually since 1996 by the association to the program, which through the selection of an independent assessment group is determined to be exemplary in leadership, safety, the skill of the flight team, management prowess, and so forth. When you look at the list of the programs that previously have received that award, it's a venerable who's who of high quality, high reliability HAA programs across the country. We're honored to be a part of it. Our nomination was made by a lady from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. She had visited our program in the summer of 2018, and during her time here, she spent several days in the program looking the program over, and unbeknownst to us, she returned to Canada impressed with what she saw and submitted our nomination for Program of the Year. And we found out in late July of 2019 that we have been selected. We're truly honored. There's no question that the helicopter air ambulance business, no matter where you are, is a very unforgiving business and requires a tremendous amount of attention to detail. But doing this work in Central Appalachia brings its own very unique set of challenges and circumstances to both our aviation teams as well as our clinical teams. This is a tough place to do this business. And since 1986, when our program was founded, we've really strived to be on the front end of whatever is out there to increase our safety margin in every part of our operation. If you look back to night vision goggles, HealthNet Aeromedical Services was the first program east of the Mississippi to use goggles in every phase of flight, ground takeoff to ground landing. There was a program east of the Mississippi who was initially using it at 300 AGL and above, but below 300 AGL is where we really get into our real high-risk profiles. We had to utilize that technology, and we were an early adopter. That's continued from having terrain avoidance, collision avoidance, on and on and on, equipped on these aircraft to increase that margin of safety well before it even became part of FAA standards. You look at our commitment to autopilots. We've had autopilots on every platform, singles and twins, for years and years and years because it's the right thing to do. If you think about our single engine platforms, if we have a single engine pilot who gets into a double IMC situation, we want to reduce that workload, have that pilot fly above the terrain, set the autopilot, reduce that workload, figure out what comes next. Everything cooperatively goes together to create a safety standard that fits very well for the place where we do this work. The commitment from our hospitals really expands beyond clinical care and expands to aviation as well, not just in terms of having the type of aircraft that we have out flying throughout Appalachia, but also too from helping us to develop precision GPS approaches into rural hospitals and the academic centers who receive those patients and more. The support that these hospitals give our program just cannot be overstated. When people think of flying in Appalachia, they really think of mountains, but we also have rivers and lots of lakes that are used for flood control in the mountains. And we have a very high risk profile of actually ending up with one of our aircraft inside a body of water. So through our initial flight academy for our clinical providers, as well as recurrent annually, we require them to go through water egress training in a controlled setting every year. It's really part of what we are and what we stand for, of investing in our people to make sure they're safe. Survival training is another example. We don't just put people in a distance learning environment to learn about safety. We actually do classroom training, face-to-face with subject matter experts, and then those crew members spend a day or a night in the woods creating shelter creating fire, cleaning water, using the things that are carried on board each of our aircraft to increase their safety if we have a landing in a remote area. There was a Navy helicopter crash in West Virginia several years ago in the wintertime. Those sailors were on that mountainside for a total of 3 days in the snow before they could be rescued. We can't take this lightly in this kind of environment. We've got to be ready all the time. One of the things that we do for our clinical providers that we added about 4 years ago was the addition of a retired aeromedical helicopter fuselage in our training center. That simulator allows us to teach crew members how to do walk-arounds for safety. We have it set up so we can create an environment where we have smoke come into the cabin. Where the engines and transmission used to set, we now have subwoofers, so if they're dispatched on a flight, for example, they get in the aircraft and they strap in, they have their helmet on, they have full communications. You hear engine 1 start, you hear engine 2 start, and you've got video screens around that simulator. And if you look out the left side of the aircraft, you see what you would normally see looking out the left side of one of our aircraft on a flight. Same thing if you look out on the right. It's just a way for us to make this as realistic as we can. We do not want to put somebody in an environment where the first exposure they have to a helicopter is when they are out in the field. When they get to the field as a third rider, if you will, on the helicopter, we want them to already be comfortable around the aircraft. That simulator allows us to do just that. One of the things that we're doing that's kind of unusual in our industry is that there is a push for more and more single-engine aircraft across the country for cost control purposes. HealthNet Aeromedical Services is really kind of going against that trend. We're seeing more of our single-engine bases being converted to twin-engine bases using the EC-135 models, but simultaneously some of our EC-135 bases are being upgraded to the 145. It gives us more weight capacity. We are able to deal with more complex patients. We're not just doing advanced life support in the air, we're doing true critical intensive care. And we need the right platforms to be able to do that work and to do it safely and effectively. And the 145 and the 135 allows us to do just that.